Hello, hello, hello. It is your girl V, and welcome to Shout Out Tea Tuesdays. I'm so happy that you're here. I mean, it's the last week of August, and I know some of you probably have been a little hot, but it's been feeling quite good to me. But anyway, that's just me. But anyway, I want to share this resource with you really quick because we always talking about a resource that's coming out that's near and dear to you that you need to go and connect with. And it is happening on September 4th. It's called a ReaderCon. It's a reader conference that's happening. So if you want to go and connect with authors, if you're interested in reading, just getting some autographs, I mean, connecting with new people, you know how I am. You got to go do that. It's going to be at the Renaissance Waterford. So you need to go and connect with them. I believe the time is from 9 to 4. It's on my post, so you can just go and share that. Something that you can do for the Labor Day holiday and just connect and have a good time. All right. So before we get into who's our special guest for today, I do want to remind you I am streaming for Game Over. Hashtag Game Over. I'm not gonna spell it because I was stuttering last time. So, but you can see it right up there, right? Oh, that way. Yeah, that way. Anyways, and so this is for Ovarian Cancer Research Alliance, because September is Ovarian Cancer Awareness Month, and so I'm always talking about the teal and ovarian cancer awareness, making sure that we're doing what we can to support cancer research. So you see this way. Yeah, there you go. You see this little hashtag or QR code over here that you can make a donation to. And so I am going to be streaming. All of my streaming and support goes to Ovarian Cancer Research Alliance. So if you would like to donate, you can. All right, let's bring in our special guest. Are y'all ready? I have somebody special today. Y'all gonna be like, who is this person? Let's bring them right on in. Hello, hello.
Hello, everybody. Hello, how are you?
I am doing wonderful. How are you doing today? Let me
I'm
get you
doing pretty
situated.
good. I'm doing pretty good. Thank you for asking. How about yourself?
Oh, not too bad, not too bad. So let me make sure I have your name correct. De'Aaron.
Correct, correct.
Ah,
De'Aaron.
there we go. Okay. Because sometimes you want to pronounce it just right because people butcher my name all the time, and so I want to make sure I have that right. So how are you doing? Pretty good. And are you from Oklahoma?
Yes, I'm from Oklahoma City. For sure.
Okay.
Born and raised.
Born and raised. Okay.
Yes.
Now, are you a Sooner fan or Cal?
I'm a little bit of both. I respect both. You know,
Okay.
OSU, OU. I respect both.
Okay. And LU? No, I'm just throwing
Yeah.
it in there.
You gotta throw that in there too, yeah?
Throw that in there too.
Yeah,
Right. So
yeah,
you
yeah.
kind of like me. I'm kind of like, I like both of them. Now, when
Yeah.
they play together, uh,
See, when they play together, I'm out of it. I act like I'm blind. I don't see nothing.
you out of it. How can
Yeah,
you
I'm
be?
out.
You can't just quit.
I say, look, I don't want no parts in that beef.
You said you don't want no parts.
Yeah, I don't want no parts of that beef.
I don't want no troubles. I don't want no troubles. I don't blame you because sometimes some of these fans
Yeah,
they can be a little ruthless.
yeah, they can.
Okay. And they don't feel like playing with you. So I'm
Yeah,
I'm just gonna be honest. It may just be the best thing just to stay out of it. I don't blame you.
exactly.
We'll leave that alone. But anyway, so let's get into this conversation. So I know that you are a life coach, you're a motivator, you're an entrepreneur. I mean, finances, marketing, and then credit repair. I mean, there's so many different titles. I mean, what do you not do? Let me see.
Um, I don't know yet. I gotta add it to my resume. I gotta add it to my resume.
Okay. That's fair. That's fair. So tell me a little bit of how did your business start and how long have you been in business?
Okay, so I kind of started. I want to say sometime around 2017.
Okay.
Now, illegally, I didn't start the business. I didn't get my LLC or anything like that. But
Now
I
wait,
had a
no, now
passion.
hold on a second. Let me pause for a
Yeah,
minute.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Now why you gotta say illegally?
Because sometimes you can have a business idea and you can be passionate about it, but you
Mhm.
don't have your LLC, so you're learning. It's kind of like, right, when you go to college, you don't get your degree, but you're passionate about the trade. So for 3 years before I decided to take a leap of faith, I wanted to study like what is the number one thing that we're struggling with, and the number one thing that I kept coming across was finances, and then the
Mm-hmm.
second thing I kept coming across was credit, and then the third thing was understanding how those two intermingle with each other. Because at one point you would talk to families and they would say, hey, stay away from those credit cards, etc. It's a
Right.
bad thing. And then on the other side, where people were actually using these credit cards and building wealth, they say, no, credit cards or credit is your best friend. And then I started doing a little deep dive, and a lot of us didn't know our credit score, didn't know anything about our finances. So that means we got paid by Friday and Saturday we broke, you know, and it wasn't discussed in the household. So the question was for me was, I kind of lived in that environment. Why not? Why is this not tackled? And then two, what are some of the problems? And let's go ahead and get into it. So in 2020, I decided to take a leap of faith and work in the finance part to figure out, okay, how can we get somebody's credit to go to here? And then how can we get them approved for houses? How can we get them approved for cars? How can we get them approved for opening up a business account? Because some people would literally go get their LLC and tax ID, but the bank would deny them. So just kind of scrubbing what are the things that we're facing, and then how can we solve that problem?
Hmm. Okay. Well, I'm happy that you took a leap of faith, and after you've done all of your research, and you've become an expert in your area, and knowing um pretty much what's the niche for you, and being able to make that work for you and the community that you serve. So let's talk about this finance. What do you think is a reason that it's not really taught in the household?
It's kind of like when I grew up in the household, it's kind of like, hey, mom, how much you got in your bank account? It's like, hey, that ain't none of your business. So there were certain things in the household you really couldn't talk about, and finances was number one. And then when you go to school, they don't teach it. And then when you go to college, they for sure don't
Right.
teach it. So it's just one of those things. You're kind of like, you get a credit card and you hope you do things right, and the banks kind of, tell you what you're approved for, what you're not approved for. So it's not really talked about unless you kind of look into it. Um, and then when I start finding out, number one, student loans have jumped up 150%.
Whew.
Yeah. So second thing is people don't see their return on investment when they get their college degrees until 20 years later, which has changed, which will shock me. And then mortgage payments and financing a car has also went up. So for me, those three things go in hand because everybody is eventually going to own a home. Everybody
Right.
eventually, you got to have a vehicle to get back and forth to where you're going to. And then
Mm-hmm.
secondly, we have people that want to go to college and create the environment, the living lifestyle that they want to. So like that was the biggest thing that I've learned was it's not taught in the home. And then when you hang out with people, it was kind of like they were gatekeeping a little bit, you know.
And why do we need to why do we need to gatekeep? I don't understand that. Like, what do we why do you feel, and not you, point out to you, but why do we feel that it's important for us to keep the information to ourselves? I mean, because I feel like that's selfish.
It it is, but we've been trained that way. So a perfect example, they print out billions of dollars every day, right?
Mm-hmm.
So 40% of that money that they're printing out every day, we only touch 40% of that money. So 60% of that money has not been touched. And we're talking about years. We in 2023, right? So that
Right.
means literally 60% every year has not been touched. And we talking about billions of dollars. So the reason why people gatekeep is because they feel like if I give out this information, right, that there's not going to be a lot of money. So I'm a gatekeep so that way they can pay me and I can get all the money, not realizing that it's so much money out there that every individual black person can be a multi-billionaire and it's still more than enough money to go around, which is crazy. But
Hmm.
that's why is because a lot of it comes from fear. And what I call fear is false evidence appearing real. Mm-hmm.
False evidence appearing
Appearing
real. I
real.
like that.
Mm-hmm. And so
Hmm.
it's just out of fear that, hey, there's not a lot of money going around for it to be served, so I'm just going to gatekeep. And a lot of the times, like, we don't understand what money is. Money is just a tool that we use for somebody else's time. So a perfect example, I use money to go get my hair cut. I'm
Right.
using that money for a service because my hair look crazy, but I'm giving you this money in exchange for your time to cut my hair. And I feel like a lot of that we're not taught.
Hmm. Okay. So, how can we as the people try to break down this gatekeeping? Like, what do we? How can we help ourselves to get around that?
We're doing it now.
Okay.
We're doing it now. So when you look at data and statistics, it shows that black women are going into 82% of black women are in entrepreneurship and they're making six figures. And then it shows that 48% of black men are going to college and starting their business. So we have this, we learn from our parents' mistakes, and
Hmm.
then once we learn from our parents and our ancestors' mistakes, we said, "Hey, we're going to create an environment to where you may talk about finances, you may talk about opening our own bank." There's an article where a frat, I think it's AKA, they opened their own trans union. So if you look around, we are doing these things. Gatekeeping is not really a thing. Um, in certain and of course, in certain areas it is, but now it's becoming more and more of we're all networking together and say we all got one common goal, and that's for us to have our own hospitals. Go back to the old back in Tulsa where we had our own black market and creating that for ourselves. You see sisters getting after it. You see brothers getting after it. So I feel like we have to find those people. Like how you
Hmm.
found me and I found you, we have to continue to do those things because if you look at it, we're doing it right now.
Right. That is true. That is true. And yes, the AKAs, they did open their credit union. I forgot
Yep.
the name of it, but they did open their credit union. Kudos to them because I think when we start doing things a little differently, it makes to me it makes people question like why do you need to do that? What is the purpose of it? And some people don't like it when you're doing things outside of the norm
Yeah.
because it appears or it may look as if you're having so much power or you're having
Hmm.
so much control. But like you said, there is enough for it to go around for everybody. Like we don't have to make it seem like I want everything for myself or I want it all for me.
Right.
Because what purpose is that going to serve if you keep it all to yourself? None,
Right.
none at all. So with the generational wealth, I've heard of this term before. What is your stance on that term?
Um, I feel like everybody is wealthy. In my opinion, I believe everybody's wealthy. I believe that you're wealthy, I'm wealthy. The only difference is the lack of information that we
Mm,
just do not have. Um, Me personally, what I believe in wealth is to be able to pass something down to your kids. And that means having a will and having a trust and being able to have that to be passed down assets, understanding assets and passing that down, and then leveraging your resources to be able to build wealth for your not just your kids but your great great grandchildren, and
that-
building a community to where if, let's say, if I was to pass away, my great 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 grandchildren have an environment to where I partner with all these different business partners to now they have their own schools, they have their own hospitals, they have their own military, they have um, broke through to the science and broke through with math,
mhm.
creating a whole different culture in a different way. I believe, to me, that's what wealth is about. It's not just it's passed down through my kids, but other generations of kids too as well.
Oh, I like that. I like that. That makes it that makes it wealthy. It's not just the money component,
Yeah.
but it's the
'Cause some,
substance that comes
right.
around with that. You
Yep.
know, there was and I cannot remember where I saw this, but I have a feeling I recorded it because usually when programs start and I don't have time to watch it, I hit record. But I can't remember what show it was. But anyways, and you can tell I haven't watched it all yet. But anyway, that's a whole nother story. But they were talking about like emancipation, you know, when we were free and there were some slave owners or people that gave land to some slaves, right? Or to the free slaves. And so at that point there was time for them to be able to own their land. And it talked about a certain land. You know what it was a million, I think it's a million names or 10 million names. And it was talking about Michael Strahan.
Okay.
And what it talked about was the town that he's from, how it was started from the slave owners giving that particular people back in the day some land, and they continued to make it grow. They had schools, they had, I mean it was just phenomenal just to kind of listen and see like what things have changed over hundreds and hundreds of years ago. And so one thing that bothers me is as generations change, right? And I'm going to say the younger generation, they're not as focused on getting property or keeping the property that's been left by their loved ones, grandma, grandpa, whomever. And usually when someone passed away, they sell it. And I'm for the life of me, I just need to know like why. And I know I never get that answer, but what do you think about that? Because that's part of a generational wealth. I mean, you already have land, your it's been passed down from their grandparents to another grandparents, and so now since that person has deceased, now you own it and now you sell it.
A lot of people look at it as a liability, and that's just a lack of
Mm,
information. And then we live in a time, unfortunately, where we want instant gratification. We want it now. And we don't think about 10 years and 20 years. You know, some people are literally thinking about how can I get by just today instead
today.
of saying, I've already made it by the week. You got people doing it for the week, months, years. The second thing is they're not educated on what they can do with that property. So a lot of the
Mm,
times, most family members that get land, some of them don't even look into a perfect example if that land own mineral rights.
yes.
So now you just sold land and you just
Hmm.
sold the minerals. When in fact you could have sold the land and you could have known about the gold for the mineral rights and sold the land, and then now you got residual income coming in for your family for digging on that gold or oil. It's just that families don't know about that because if you look at the American dream was go to work, go to college, get you a degree, own that home, and pass it down. There wasn't talk like business. The only time that you kind of see people that were taught about businesses when they were hanging out, like people don't know about like Greenwood, right? So
Hmm.
Greenwood was this little booklet where you can look up because I mean you couldn't go in a restaurant. We couldn't go in the restaurants at those times, but it was a booklet with all the black businesses like hotels, restaurants that you can look in and get that, including banks. And then two, the third thing is a lot of the information that our grandparents had, that information didn't get passed down or it skipped a generation. So the
Right.
grandparents might have told the kid might have told, their child, but that child didn't tell the child that they have now. And so what we're starting to see is that information that's being not passed down. And then the fourth thing, if you look at family dynamic now, a lot of them don't have like family reunions. A lot
Mm,
of them don't have that where we used to all go to grandma's house, spend the night. Everybody knew Juju down the street. We don't
Right.
have communities anymore. And
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't say we don't have it anymore. We're slowly rebuilding a community because of those are the things that are lack. I feel like it's those four ingredients. Once we get that back, because we getting the information back, rebuilding. Um, the third thing is we got the businesses, so we're doing that. It's just about, okay, how can we rebuild the trust with the youth? Because the youth are looking at, mom and dad and saying, hey, I'm watching mom and dad struggle. Why I need to do what y'all doing when I can go sell this house and get this money instantly?
Right. That's a good, and thank you for explaining, is taking the time to explain it, because that is definitely true. That instant gratification, that instant
Mm-hmm.
money, and especially if you are already struggling, or if you're already having a difficult time making, means meet, and I could see how that could definitely play a part. And like I said, you are very knowledgeable about your information, and I appreciate that, because it's good for someone, and I don't know how old you are, but I'm just going to say, as young as you are, it's good for someone as young as you are to be able to educate the community about what's going on, and how to be able to look at things a little bit differently when it comes to spending, um, because I'll be truthful, I'm not a name brand person. I never have been a name brand person since, well, forever. But I just kind of watch how people are hooked on certain names. We spend hundreds and thousands of dollars because this person has this brand or this brand. But then if you needed to use that money to do something else, like to start your own business or to support a small owned business that's coming up with their own brand, it's kind of like, I don't want that.
Yeah,
I don't. I'm hoping that the mindset of people will eventually get brighter. And I say brighter, or at least larger, to where you don't just focus on the Tommy Hilfigers and the whatever else is out there, Michael Kors and all them other stuff, but you
mm-hmm.
actually start to reach back and think about these small businesses that are trying to get on that level, because
Yeah,
we have to start somewhere,
yeah.
right? We do have to
Right.
start somewhere. So with let's talk about businesses and being an entrepreneur. Um, what would be the first step? Because I know you said with you had to research, you had to think about, is this really what I want to do? And then you took that leap of faith. So if someone doesn't have that mindset like you, what should be their first step? What would you encourage them to do?
It kind of goes right back to what we discussed. Remember, fear, false evidence appearing real. See, I was afraid that I was gonna fail. I was afraid that I wasn't gonna reach a broadcast. I had a fear that if people followed me, they would just feel tremendously because I didn't know, which is that's crazy. Because
Mm-hmm.
how am I gonna meditate on something that has not happened yet?
Oh,
Let's start there because fear, false evidence appearing real. So just like how we manifest, God gives us the ability to be able to manifest and grab what's ours, our birthright, which is ours. At the same time, we can also ponder on something that ain't even happened yet. So we're literally making it up in our minds. So the number one thing is I would tell that brother or sister, do not be afraid. Do not be afraid. Look at what you need. The second thing is do your research. Do your research. And when you're in business, the third thing, there's no such thing as failure. No such thing. It's lessons. So in the
lessons. I
consumer
like that.
world, we surviving. We all trying to get a check. But in business, you're not surviving, you're learning. Now, are you a failure when you're a freshman in college, a sophomore, a junior, a senior? Because technically you're borrowing money, you're not getting paid, right? For that
Right.
investment. But then after you get that diploma, you're still successful. It's the same thing with business. And with business, you have to realize that you got to take all that, enjoy it, because there's a lot of people that don't have the thought capacity of what the problems that you can solve. Some
Mm,
people need you to solve that problem that they have first in order for them to build their dreams. So a perfect example, I work in finance, right? I'm helping people, I'm going over what items are impacting their credit score, what's stopping them. So I'm talking to a business owner that has a huge vision. The only thing that's stopping them is their credit. I have a service to cut that roadblock so they can go and build that business. And it's the same
mm,
thing. Is if you don't know what you want to do, the fourth thing is this: what would you do for free if all your bills was paid? You didn't have to worry about electric, car note, none of that. If you can just do it for free, what would you do? And then if you still don't know, guess what? Find someone that can mentor you and say, hey, what are you really good at? Because what it is the sixth thing is you really got to look yourself in the mirror and say, what is it? Why do I not believe in myself that much? Because what it really is you're afraid to show people who you really are. You haven't even accepted who you really are. And that's okay because we all been there. I've been there, trust me. I've been there. I look myself in the mirror a couple of times and be like, you awesome. And I don't feel like I'm awesome. It's been times where I sit around with people and they be like, you amazing. And I don't feel like I'm amazing. But it's okay to have those feelings. But it's about acting that out and also believing it. And the seventh thing I would do is write down what you want to do. Write it down. The eighth thing is create a vision board. What is a vision board? I'm bougie, okay? I imagine myself, I was gonna have a chain. Look, I got it. I got a chain. I imagine I was gonna have a particular car, which is a Mercedes. I ended up getting. I had a vision that I was gonna have a 6 bedroom house and a penthouse downtown. I have it on the board. So what you want to do is go to a magazine, cut out what you want. I don't care if Pookie and Ray Ray making fun of you for putting your dreams on the board. Put it on
right.
that board.
Do that.
I don't
Hmm.
put it behind you. So even when you wake up, you see it. The ninth thing I would tell you to do is I want you to go get $1. Okay, go get $1, and I want you to save it. I want you to write, "Money comes to me easily and effortlessly. I appreciate you and I love you." I want you to write it on $1. And then what I want you to do is I want you to put it in your wallet. I want you to put it in your purse. And then every time, I don't care, you at your job and your job getting on your nerves, okay? I want you to pull that dollar out and I want you to give someone an amazing customer service. I want you to be the best version of yourself. Because let's be real, the world don't deserve the best version of yourself. But there's people out there that needs to see that. Write that down because what that's going to do is start changing your belief in yourself. What that's going to do is start changing the belief with the promises that you have not with yourself but with God and other people. What that's going to do is change your mindset and the relationship with money because you're going to realize that it's just a tool. It's just a tool. Money
Mm.
don't make you. Money is a tool. You are wealthy. I'm gonna say it again. You are wealthy. You are loving. You are amazing. You are all these amazing things. Money don't make that. And I've been around. Unfortunately, I've been around people that have money, and the one thing that I realize it only enhances who you are. So if you're miserable right now and you get $1 million, you're just gonna be a miserable person with $1 million. If
Oh
you
no.
happy right now, look, you only be a happy person with $1 million. Money don't change you. The 10th thing is start reading self-help books to start building the character. Because let's say you do all of those things and you're still not confident. You may believe you may not be this person who you want to be. Trust me, there's somebody out there that's just like you. Read self-help books so that way you can develop the skills and the knowledge that you need to build confidence in yourself. Those are the 10 things that I would do if you were to just start.
Oh wow. Now he didn't just give us one; he gave us 10. I mean, if you didn't catch all that, it's okay. Just wait till this live is over and then slide it back a little bit. Or if you listen on the podcast, push pause, go grab a piece of paper and write all of them down. And then also reach out to him because That right there is powerful. And I just want to say that component of fear is so true. Some people feel like, oh well, no, I'm not really afraid. Oh no, I'm okay. And I'm speaking to myself if that's okay, because I can only talk about me. But I have ideas, and then I second guess myself. I'm like, oh no, you know. And then I say, oh, I don't think anybody would like it. Nobody will come or nobody will support. You start to go down that road, just like you said. And you have to have those encouraging people that just say, hey, no, 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 just do it.
Mm-hmm.
Just do it. And I cannot tell you how many times I've told myself that. Just do it.
Yeah.
Hey, stop. Just do it. Cut it out. Just do it. And then when I do it, I feel so much better. I'm like, oh, see?
Right.
So yes, definitely, definitely. I love all 10 of those. So I'm gonna have to write them down myself because I know I'm not gonna remember all of them. But I love all 10 of those because that right there, whew, how they say that's a word, it's a gem, it's a jewel, however the young people say it now. But that right there, that will definitely help someone to go ahead and step out on what you need to do. And don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. I love that. So with this business, um, with the business model, you had mentioned earlier that I think it was towards the beginning. You had said, well, now you have this LLC and you have all these other things, and now it's kind of like, okay, now what?
Right.
Right? Where do we go from here? How do we get some funding? Especially if my credit is not what it needs to be.
Oh,
So what can we do about this C word that's
got you,
um
got you,
okay.
man. I ain't gonna lie. When I was doing my research, I did everything YouTube did. They said you can get business funding as soon as you get your LLC and your tax ID. As soon as I did that, sir, what are you doing? Look, sir, what are you doing? We're not gonna do this, okay? So
Oh,
trust me, I understand how that feels. I think the number one thing is building your credit, building your credit, looking at your credit. Don't be afraid to look at your. I call it the adult report card, okay?
oh,
Don't be afraid to look at the adult report card
adult
because you
report.
you got to understand companies makes billions of dollars off of people with bad credit. Here's a perfect example. You go finance a car for $20,000. Let's say you got good credit. You finance a car for $20,000. We'll say the interest rate is 4%. 4% on that is only $3,000. So you literally only spending $23,000. Let's say you got a weak credit score. You finance a car for $20,000. You know what the interest rate they're gonna hit you with, depending on the state. They might hit you with the cap. We just gonna say 18%. 18% ends up turning to 18,000. So
Mhm.
now you just turn. We're gonna do the 20 because that's what you wanted to do. The bank said they looking at your progress report and they saying, hey, your report card. Oh, this person don't like to pay their bills on time. Go ahead and get that interest rate up because we need to make money from them.
Mhm.
Okay, this person's credit card ain't got no credit card or utilization up. Yeah, go ahead and jack it up some more. And so now we add the 20 plus 18. What's 18 plus 20? The last time I checked, that's 38,000
Just for that car.
just for that car. And so they're making money off of you. And I don't know about you, I'm bougie, but I like to save money. Okay, I'm bougie. I'm not gonna lie, I'm bougie. I like to save money. Okay, that was the first thing I had to accept. My progress report, my adult report card was trash. Okay, if I went to the bank and tried to finance a bottle of water, they was not dealing with me. Okay,
Not the bottle of water.
not the bottle. They was like, sir, you. Mm-mm. What they
Not
call
gonna
it
do
to me,
that.
I had roach credit. Okay, I had roach credit. Okay.
Oh my gosh.
So the number one thing you want to do is you want to go to it's called annualcreditreport.com. Look at all three of the credit bureaus. The second thing you want to look is what items are impacting you. Then the third thing is closed accounts. So all the corporate talk, I'm gonna just tell you what that means. That just means that they couldn't get no money from you. They filed it on their taxes, sent it to a debt collector to come collect money from you. So here's another thing. So let's say you owe me money, right?
Right.
Someone else come and pay your tab. Do you owe that person that paid your tab?
Yes. Because they paid it for me. They oh no.
Nobody didn't tell that to pay your tab.
That's true. Nobody told them, but they paid it.
And then they're going to and say, hey, this person owed me this tab. But you didn't volunteer for them to pay your tab.
So are you saying
Uh, oh, yeah. Mm,
oh
yeah. Mm.
okay.
So, close the account.
I mean I
Yeah,
okay.
just blew your mind. I know. Just blew
Yes.
your mind. So,
Okay.
with a closed account, all they're doing is saying, hey, we couldn't get money from this person. We're going, for tax purposes, we're going to have a debt collector buy it, and then the debt collector come after you. That's not right.
So even though that's not right,
Mm.
are you saying that even though we have this debt collector that has the file now or the case?
Can I ask you a question? Do they have the original file that you did business with them?
No.
Let the church say, yeah. Let the church say, amen, amen. They don't. So what they're doing is going to the bureaus and saying, hey, this person owes me money. Oh, well, do you have their first name? Do you have their last name? Do you have the address? Do you have the social? Okay, they owe you money. We're gonna put it on the credit report.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Hold on a
Yeah.
second.
Hmm.
So, okay. Now, everybody
That
take
part.
everybody take a sip of water,
Yeah,
please.
yeah. I'm gonna set my ginger ale on that. Yeah. Yeah. That part. Okay. I'm gonna throw another one out there that's probably gonna throw you off. You ready?
I I wasn't ready for the first one, but go
These
ahead.
credit bureaus get paid to put negative items on people's credit profile. What if I told you Equifax and TransUnion is not a credit bureau? They're
Wait,
just a they're just a
hold,
data reporting agency.
okay, back up two steps. You said, wait, what was the first thing that you just said?
What if I told you that Equifax,
No,
TransUnion,
not that part. The other part. You said
what?
they get paid to
To
put
put negative items on
negative.
people's credit profile. It's a
So
business.
they're getting paid to put negative things on. Why? Why? But why would
Be-
you? wh-
How are they getting paid, right? Because the debt collector is sending them information, their information company. They have to pay to put that information on
On
your
the
profile. So if I'm a debt collector and I say, hey, this person got X, Y, and Z, cool. And then you got to think they're also partnered with business. So like a perfect example, Navy Federal, right, which is a
hmm
a great credit bureau or credit union. They partner with TransUnion. So if I'm a debt collector, I communicate with TransUnion. Ain't that stopping you from borrowing money from your bank because they're partnered with Navy Federal and Navy Federal did an agreement with TransUnion? That's interfering with your business.
mm.
And then TransUnion is not really doing their part to really go and validate. Now, here's the 5 websites that you want to go to that Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian go to validate your information.
Did y'all grab a sheet of paper?
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready. All right. So the number one thing is LexisNexis.
LexisNexis. Okay, hold on. My pen want to stop working. Okay, sorry.
So you got LexisNexis, you got StageStream, you got Logic Core,
Did you say logic?
Logic
Okay,
Core, Core Logic. I'm sorry, Core Logic,
core
Core
logic. Okay.
Logic. Yes. So LexisNexis, StageStream, Core Logic, There's a website called ARS dot consumer, and then we got one more which is envious. So N or INNOVIS. I may be pronouncing that wrong, but you have those five websites that have your data. So with Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian, remember they just hold information, but they use sister companies, which are these five companies right here, to verify if that debt is valid. Because
Mm,
remember what I said, it's three things: first name, address, social.
right.
It gotta be real.
Hmm.
And then they go to that company that's reporting that information and say, oh, well, yeah, this person did borrow money from this bank and this account is closed. So this is in our database. So it is right. This account is right.
So your other statement that you made earlier, you said the
Equifax, TransUnion, Experian is not a credit bureau.
they're not a credit bureau. They're
No.
just a data reporting.
So that software, FICO, it's just a data system that shows your points.
Hmm.
So if you go to Credit Karma, you'll see Vintage 2.0. Only 7% of businesses use that. So that's why when people they go to Credit Karma, they be like, I'm finna go get me a car. Then they pull up the dealership, they like, nah, here's your real credit score.
Oh, so
So
Credit Karma is not
Vintage,
showing you the real score?
Vintage, and FICO. I didn't say they're not. They are. It's
Hmm.
just only 7% of businesses use them.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And then 93% of main businesses use FICO. FICO and Vintage are nothing more than a system that shows your credit score. They're not a bureau. There's only one bureau, which is the Census Bureau, which at the end, how you know it's a real bureau if the government is behind it. If you go to TransUnion, do it say gov? It
No.
say .com. If you go to
Right.
Experian, it say what? .com.
.com.
If
Mm.
you go to Equifax, it say .com. It don't say .gov. So the Census Bureau, they have to report to them because they don't play.
Right. Oh my goodness. So let's. Oh
I know.
wait. Yeah. You.
I know. It's a lot. So
It is a lot.
imagine me doing my research and I'm my. So you mean to tell me
Right.
that people are ripping these people off and we don't even know it?
Mm-mm.
So imagine if I would have never read up on that.
Right. That's true.
Now, imagine how many people are affected by that.
Several billion of people.
Second question: how many business owners have great business ideas that right there is stopping them? In the millions.
Yes, in the millions. In the millions. So with because there was someone that asked me this question. If I have a business, do are they looking at what my business is able to produce, or are they only looking at my social and my credit? Because your business is tied to your
Mm-mm.
social, so to
So
speak. I'm guessing what they say.
your business and your business and your personal credit are separate. The reason why they call it the business term is we gonna run it blended is because you don't have any you don't have any payment history with your business. But to answer your question, what they would need to do, let's say if I open my tax ID, I would go to Sam's Club or Costco, open up a business account, and then get a credit card with them. Go to Home Depot, get a business checking account, because on the business side, it's not made of five components. It's only made of one. Do you pay? Do you pay early? Do you pay on time? 60 days, 90 days, 120, 166.
So, question:
Mm-hmm.
if with Costco and Sam's and going get this credit card, that you said a business account, but to get a credit card, but wouldn't that credit card?
Go ahead.
Wouldn't wouldn't you need to apply for that credit card with your social? No.
You can do it with your tax ID. So let's say, for example, if I go to American Express,
Hmm.
American Express will run my business credit. So they have their database. They'll go look it up. Um, oh, the other thing that I would do too is get excuse me is get registered through Dun and Bradstreet. That's free. Get your free Dun and Bradstreet number.
Dun and Bradstreet.
Mm-hmm.
Now you saying Dun as in Done or
Mm-hmm.
Dun as in DA?
DUN, Dun
D
and Brad.
and Brad. Okay. Now who are they?
So pretty much they're their own credit bureau.
Oh.
So their system is Paydex. So when the issue is when you go file for your LLC and then you get your tax ID, they're trying to look. Did you set up your 411 number? You know, can people dial 411? Look you up. Are you registered on Google? Did you register your business on Google? Do you have a website? You know, a lot of the times we don't have this established, right? And then when we're gonna
Hmm.
look these things up, everybody want an arm and a leg for these things.
Hmm.
So that's what a lot of the times that's what's stopping you is you need technically like three things, which is your LLC, your tax ID, and you want a website. So when they go look you up, you legit. Because you
Okay.
got a lot of people out here that actually falsely do stuff, and they want to make sure the people that we're sending money to and giving credit to is real, isn't a business entity.
Right. That makes sense because people are getting scammed left and right nowadays. Okay. Oh, now I'm gonna have to. We're gonna have a part two, three info series with you because this is a lot of information. Did y'all? I hope y'all write.
So
So.
yeah, those are the three things that you would want to do is that. But to answer that question, the reason why, to go back to what you were saying, the reason why they are running the business is because once again they don't have these things established. So then
Hmm.
it's kind of like when you go to the dealership and you ain't got no credit, they like, we don't really trust you. Can we go run somebody else that got credit? So that's what your personal credit is doing, is validating. And that's why I always say if you get above a 670, you good. If you get above a 670, you good.
Okay.
Because
Get a
usually
book.
they don't really trip. If you write at a 670, that means you got some good credit. I mean, it's fair, but you got some good credit. We can go ahead and give you some money. The
Hmm.
number one thing that people sleep on is grants, grant money.
You know what? Yes. Yes. Absolutely. Yes. Yes. Now, so are you? Do you write grants or do
Now
you?
I'm going to, but I haven't done that yet.
Okay.
Now I've been looking up some grants and stuff like that for people to take advantage of. Um, I want to say I should still have this list of grants.
Okay.
Um, if anybody on podcast or anything like that, if y'all want the grant, just email me or find me on Facebook and I will send it to you. So I want to say I still have that on my phone. That's like a list of grants. Let me see. Matter of fact, I think I just sent it to your email.
Yes. Well, you can send it to my email
Yeah, I
at
sent it to your email.
the T with V at gmail.com, please. Thank you. Yes. Okay. So with this credit, is it called credit repair program that you have, or
I
what's
would
your?
say more of it's more than just credit. It's just
Okay.
financial literacy. So it's kind of
Financial
like
literacy.
the bait on the hook. I say, hey, come and go get your credit fixed, but it's really just teaching financial literacy because removing things off your credit is easy. It's maintaining it.
That's true.
So what I do is I say credit repair, but then I catch them and I say, okay, hey, we need to have a savings goal. We need to have a look at your debt and have a debt payoff. You know, what do you do when you don't have a will and a trust? You know,
Mm,
so when you die, we don't want family members to be arguing about Bath and Body Work products and fighting over shirts and cars and clothes. And we need to have that will in place. And then we need to create you a trust so that way you can have something that's safe, that's contract law, that where the government can't come and take it. Because what
Mm.
ends up happening is, let's say, for example, a family member dies and it's not given to anyone in a will or a trust, the government taking it.
Mm-hmm.
So now y'all both looking salty. Let's put that into place. So then too, having different lawyers. So if you need a lawyer to actually help you start your LLC or help you build contracts for your business and stuff like that, we got a program for that. So and then all of that is in your monthly fee, and it's nothing crazy. It's only $89. So you're getting all of that for literally $89. And my number one thing was I hooked you with just credit repair, which is so much more value
Right.
that you're getting.
Oh, okay. That's affordable. Now, ladies, I'm gonna speak to you. You can afford that $89 because y'all spend that at the hair salon or at the nail shops.
We ain't gonna even talk about the lashes now. We ain't
We ain't gonna, right. We ain't gonna talk about that. We won't talk about that. So, when they do start working with the credit repair, how long does it take where you
So
start to build a credit?
legally, for the bureaus to respond, it takes 45 days. So what happens, right? So we go to all three credit bureaus. I have a team that look at your credit profile. They scrub it, and then after they scrub it, they send each letter to Equifax, TransU, and Experian, and then Equifax, TransU, and Experian has 30 days, technically 45 days to respond. So then, if they do not respond, we send out another letter saying, hey, you violated these laws through the Fair Reporting Credit Act. You
Mm-hmm.
violated this code, this code, this code. You're held to the standard. Then, let's say they don't respond, right? Now you have a lawyer that literally has all your documents, and you ain't got to show up. I'm bougie, okay? So you get to be bougie too. So you ain't even got to show up, and your lawyer says, hey, you violate this code, this code, this code. We don't do remove. We need you to delete it. Because remove just means the term. Remove just means we going to remove it. Another debt collector say, oh, this was removed. I can go buy that. Now, 6 months, your credit score then jumped up. And then 7 months, somebody then added back that repossession on there. You like, what's going on? So we don't do remove. We do delete. You either going to delete it or you going to pay us, or you going to pay my client $500 per item. And what you think they're going to do?
Deleted.
That part.
Oh, so there's a difference between remove and delete.
Yes. So a lot of people, when you're out there, you want to ask them, are y'all removing or are y'all deleting? And
So you
so,
mean to tell me if they remove it, they can turn around and bring it back?
yes. A perfect example, I'm not going to say my client's name. She tried a company called LexisNexis, and they ended up getting her, I want to say her repossession removed.
Hmm.
And like I said, removed, not deleted. And then 6 months later, it popped back on. And so before she joined our program, she was a little skeptical. Like I've did this before, and I had to educate her. There's a difference between removing and actually deleting.
Oh wow.
And a lot
Huh.
of people don't know bankruptcies can be deleted too.
But isn't it after so many years, right?
When I when I say there's laws out there that protects you, there's laws out there that protects you. If I went into the rabbit hole, your mind would be blown. But there's laws and codes that are out there that protect you, that businesses take advantage that we don't know of.
So that would explain why we hear certain people or businesses file for bankruptcy and then they come back and they doing okay and then they file for bankruptcy again. Because
Yep.
I always wonder like how many times you gonna file for bankruptcy? You already said you lost everything. What you gonna
Right. Why are we doing this again? I said, I thought you could only do it once. I'm looking
right.
at your track record. You did about 11, 50 times. What's going on? And you still
Mm.
getting cars. You still getting houses. You still. That's why. So imagine what I just told you. Imagine what you can do with your business. Now,
Right.
now listen to me when I say this. We just talked about the laws of credit, right? From
Mm-hmm.
consumer law. Now imagine what they're doing on the business side, right? Which is scary. And then the second thing is if they can't get their money, who they taxing?
Well, who are they taxing? But, oh, hmm. Okay. Listen.
Because think about it. If you ain't never got a business, right? How do you save money on taxes?
Well, you can't, because them taxes, good Lord, they.
So a person can make 100,000, right? And a business can earn 100,000. Who gonna pay more in taxes, the business or the person that's
The
just working for a company?
the person.
Right. The person that's working for a company gonna pay more taxes than a business owner.
Okay, make it make sense. Oh my gosh. Listen, De'Aaron. I'm going to have to bring you back.
Okay.
This
Can we do
is
it?
just
Can we do it
too
next
much.
week?
We,
Get the people on board.
listen, this is just too much information to absorb. Like,
Yeah, I know.
because I have so many questions, but because I wanted to ask you about the identity theft, but we're gonna have I'm gonna bring you back for another segment if that's okay. And no, I can't do it next. I can't do it next week.
We're gonna have to get one scheduled. We're gonna have to get the part two
Yes,
going.
we're gonna have to get part two going. Oh my gosh. Okay, so so let me back up because I know I could talk and you'll be on here 2 hours dealing with me. So let me respect your time and your patience. So I want you to tell the people, where can they find you? How can they get in contact with you?
Okay.
Um, on social media, your website, wherever.
So what they can do is they can go to Facebook, just type in Dearron and then Landon Landon. You can find me on Facebook. You can find me on TikTok. You can find me on Instagram. Inbox me if you have anything concerning about your credit profile. And then secondly, if you want to start a business, I have templates to help you get started. Um, Another thing too is if you want to go ahead and find me on the website, just type in DeAarron.com. Or my other website you can type in is DeAarronLandon/home.
Okay, slash home. All right, so he has told you where you can find this young man with the wealth of knowledge, and make sure you have your own notebook so you can take notes of everything that he's explaining to you. Because trust me, it's going to help. And I'm be honest, I'm gonna sign up myself. So that $89 a month is not that bad. We can afford that. I'm saying we because I'm encouraging everybody else to sign up along with me and just to look at things differently and get some help and some resources, connect you with things that you need to do. Oh, I love this. All right. Well, I appreciate you coming on Share the Tea Tuesdays.
You're
It
welcome.
has been a mouthful. Literally, it has been a mouthful. And I don't know if my husband is watching, but I'm about to go in here and tell him, like, Reggie, did you He's like, oh God, here we go. I'm like, yes. So, but I really do appreciate you coming on and taking the time to come on here. We are going to set up a part two. We'll have to figure that part out as far as my schedule because it does get a little hectic on this side of town. But I do want to say thank you for everybody for listening and following Share the Tea. If you're listening on social media or if you're listening on the podcast, don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. And then if you're also on LinkedIn, Follow Share the Tea LLC on there as well. And remember to be intentional, be insightful, and definitely be impactful in everything that you do. And until next week, y'all stay blessed. Thank you, Darian, and you take care. And I'll talk to you soon.
All right.
All right, bye bye.